Welcome to the IT Career Energizer podcast. For anyone who wants to build and grow a career in IT, develop and improve your strengths and skills, be inspired and motivated by the successes of others, manage your career progression, and achieve your IT career goals. And now, your host, Phil Burgess.
Welcome to episode 106 of the IT Career Energizer podcast. My guest on today's show is Eric Vanderburg. Eric is a cybersecurity leader, consultant, author, and thought leader. He is Vice President of Cybersecurity at TCDI and Vice Chairman of the Board of Directors for the Technology Ministry Network. Eric is a continual learner who has earned more than 40 technology and security certifications, and he has a strong desire to share technology insights with the community. He is also author of several books, a frequent writer of articles, a regular presenter at conferences, seminars, and other events. So, Eric, can I ask you to expand on that summary and tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. So happy to be here. I'm a creative guy who's been given some interesting opportunities, usually to either create different programs. Worked at a college for a while, designing a curriculum, and then others would teach these different programs after me. Got into consulting, and got to work for lots of different companies, and see what problems they were tackling, and find some really interesting solutions. It's been quite a fun ride right now, being the Vice President of Cybersecurity.
Sure. So how did you find your way into cybersecurity in particular?
So I had been in IT and interested in technology, and I kind of always found myself asking those little questions. My wife will go, "Why do you do that?" But you go, like, how would the system be broken, and how would somebody misuse this thing? And that's actually very helpful when you're in cybersecurity, because you're trying to, if you understand how it might be broken, then you can figure out how to try to defend against it. And so, I'm asking those odd questions like, well, I just saw them do this. Now, if I were to try that, then I'd be able to get into this building or to get in, reroute this connection or whatever it might be. So it does help. But I was asking those questions and realized, there might be a good fit for cybersecurity.
Right. Okay. So, Eric, can you maybe share a unique career tip with the IT Career Energizer audience, one they possibly may not know and should?
My tip would be to seize the opportunities that are going to stretch you as an individual. There's a lot of opportunities out there, and I think sometimes, we want to be in our comfort zone, and so we feel that we got to wait until we're ready and fully equipped to take on some newer role or responsibility. But I've found that I'm usually out of my comfort zone. I have to learn new things that I might not fully grasp. And I say, sure, let me do that, because that's what stretches and pushes me to move even further. If I had to wait until I felt ready, I'd be the one there, the laggard at the end, because IT moves so quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. So opportunities are a thing you look for all the time?
Yeah, I do. I mean, at least, because there's a lot of them around us, and I don't think we really realize. And so I'll be talking to somebody, find out what they do, and then we go, oh, hey, well, what if we do this or that? Or somebody might just say they're looking for this type of a thing, and new opportunities come up.
Yes, I think sometimes as well we forget to look for opportunities. They just possibly pass us by because we're not necessarily looking out for things.
Mm-hmm.
Eric, can you maybe tell us about your worst IT career moment of what you learned from that experience?
It's important to keep life in balance. And so my worst experience really happened a few years ago. I had a lot of things on my plate. My business was growing, managing a lot of projects, spending time with my family. I had taken on some other commitments in my community, boards and other things. And I was also managing a growing social media audience. So all these different things, life felt fulfilling, felt good, but I didn't have any buffer in there. So one major problem started causing it all to fall apart. Had a family illness, and then I picked up more slack on the home front, but other areas were put on the back burner. And soon the things that were not urgent became critical. Deadlines were missed, and I had to start taking things off my plate, transfer some responsibilities to others, step away from some of the less important commitments so that I could focus on the important things. And what I learned was that you need to have some free time in your schedule, not only to see some of those opportunities that might be out there, but also because just life gets difficult and complicated sometimes. And if you don't have that time, it's going to all fall apart. Like kind of having your time insurance policy.
Yes. So you'd recommend not maxing out your time, making sure you've got some like an element of flexibility available for anything that does come up.
Exactly.
Okay, so moving away from your worst moment, can you maybe tell us about your career highlight or greatest success?
Any achievement requires, or any great achievement, I think requires a lot of work. There's some really cool things that I've done, but sometimes I've just kind of fallen into them, and so I don't feel as much pride in that one as I do the things that really took a lot of effort. So one of them might be my first book, because I had to put a lot of my soul into that. It was being a first time author, you don't know exactly what to expect. I was really blessed to work with a great editorial team and acquisitions editor who was able to kind of walk me through the process, set my expectations, and help me put together a plan that would allow me to structure my writing in an aggressive but achievable way. I had to dig really deep into things that I thought I understood. I was writing about storage, and you think, yeah, sure, I can talk storage all the time to clients, and then you start writing about it, and questions come into my mind, and well, exactly
Yes.
how does this one element of solid state storage work? And you go online, and people just kind of keep saying the exact same thing, but not digging beneath that. How does a floating gate work or a control gate work, and things like that? So I had to go in and really figure it out. And this meant sometimes, calling companies up or people I knew and getting down to the nitty gritty. But that was very helpful for me too in really solidifying my knowledge of it. And when I finally finished that book, boy, did it feel good.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Was it a relief as much as a feeling of success? Do you actually manage to do it?
I mean, I went into it, it was good knowing kind of what to expect. My wife was very supportive because I knew that she'd be taking on a little bit more during that time, but we had a deadline. We knew when it was all going to be complete, and when it was like, yes, let's celebrate. And then, we're going to get back to normal a little bit.
Sure, but it didn't stop there. I presume you've written and published more books since.
I've written 2 others, but they seemed a little bit easier than once I knew the process and was a bit more familiar with it.
Good. Okay. So, Eric, can you maybe tell us what excites you about the future of the IT industry and careers in IT?
It's cool now to be in IT. It used to be, a geeky thing and not very cool. Nobody'd really want to do that sort of thing, even though I've always been extremely passionate about it. And now I think, the technology geeks are kind of the cool folks. And it's partially because technology is so intimate with our lives. Our lives, our businesses all revolve around data. And when you have that, you need people who are going to develop and support and secure that infrastructure, those applications. And so, we carry our phones with us everywhere. We've augmented in virtual reality and so many ways to interface with IT, IoT, that's adding all these digital hooks from the real world to the digital world, and even artificial intelligence is now automating our lives and decision-making processes. So that's really exciting to be in IT, to be one of those smart people who's out there to ensure these systems function correctly, and I'd also say ethically.
Yeah, absolutely. Are there any directions or technologies that particularly interest you?
Well, I've always been interested in virtual reality, and then when we finally started developing the technology, it was less interesting to me. I now find myself more drawn to augmented reality, being able to, especially when combining that with IoT, taking things that are around us, but now gaining some more insight from them, and then being able to interface with them, not only physically but virtually.
Okay, we're going to go into the reveal round now. We're going to ask you a few more questions to understand a little bit more about you. You ready for this?
Sure.
So what first attracted you to a career in IT?
I've always been interested in either computers or electronics. back when I could first read, I was reading the old, Apple manuals and things like that. And so it was very natural for me to move into that. I remember fixing computers for people around the neighborhood. And so some people thought I'd be a lawyer. My dad's a lawyer, and said, no, I'm going to go into computers. And thought, wow, well, that's not a very good choice, but it seemed to work out for me. And I never, looked back and wanted to be anything else other than maybe an astronaut when I was a kid.
Right, yes. Yeah. What is the best career advice you've ever received?
I would say it's from my father. He told me that your integrity is everything. Never compromise it. There's gains that might seem worth it in the short term, but it always comes back to bite you. And especially now, we live in an increasingly connected world, and it breaks down barriers, exposes each of us to way more scrutiny. And no matter what, we all have to live with ourselves. And I want to be able to look back on my own life and know that I acted conscientiously.
If you were to begin your IT career again right now, what would you do?
Well, I can't say that I'd look fondly upon starting all over again, but there are some really interesting areas in IT that I could see focusing more attention on, if I were not really doing what I'm doing now. I had pursued a PhD for a while and had never finished it, life, family, and I'll get back to it someday. But now, if I was going to do it all over again, I think I'd even look in a slightly different direction and maybe research the human-computer interaction and the ethics of technology's impact on us as humans.
Yeah, good areas, yes. What career objectives are you currently focusing on?
Well, I'm kind of at the stage of my career where I'm trying to empower the next generation. This involves not only those I work directly with by giving them opportunities to challenge themselves in new ways or the freedom to fail and learn from that, but also involved in information sharing, my social media outlets through blogging, writing, and public speaking. In all these ways, I'm trying to share some of what I've learned and help us all collectively improve and to learn from others in the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's the number one non-technical skill that has helped you in your career so far?
Non-technical, I would say it's been my ability to organize, whether it be organizing a new project or putting ideas down on paper, or assembling a team to tackle a problem. This ability to organize has helped me put the right pieces in the right places to be successful.
You look at yourself as a structured person, well organized?
Yeah, I have my own little, systems even going throughout the day that help me not forget things or,
right.
I'm continually improving my little internal processes.
Eric, can you share a parting piece of career advice with the IT Career Energizer audience?
Seize opportunities, stretch yourself, and try to always be learning something. Everybody can teach you something. And so be humble enough to learn and excited about what you do.
And finally, what's the best way we can find out more about you and connect with you?
So I have a blog called securitythinkingcap.com. You can go to my company, that's TCDI.com, and you can find me on Twitter at Vanderburg, that's EVANDERBURG.
Eric, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. It's been great chatting with you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
As always, my thanks go to my guest on today's show. You'll find a show notes page for today's episode on the IT Career Energizer website, which will be itcareerenergizer.com/e and then the number of today's episode. I also want to thank you for your continued support. It's always great to hear from listeners, particularly when they have suggestions about potential guests or ways to improve the show. And this was one of the reasons for creating the new IT Career Energizer Community Facebook group. I'm really excited about taking the podcast forward, and I hope that you'll continue to support and listen to the show as it continues to change and evolve. Thanks for listening, and remember, if you're not growing your career, you're slowing your career.
Thanks for listening to the IT Career Energizer podcast. To find out more about building a successful career in IT, visit itcareerenergizer.com.